You gonna leave right now, or you want to listen to it?
I'm gonna leave,
Okay.
but you record it. Yeah.
Okay.
So today is Wednesday, March 9th. This is for the We the People health and wellness section. We have Rich Wright from OptimusLabs as our guest today. He's going to be telling us everything we want to know about nano silver. So you can look this stuff up at OptimusLabs. I think it's OptimusLabs.com. Is that correct, Rich? And welcome. I can't hear you, Rich. Let me see. I think you need to unmute yourself. No, I'm not sure what's going on. Can anybody else hear him? Or
Rich
hear
is
me?
unmuted, but we don't hear him.
I did not hear him.
So Rich, there must be a problem with your headset.
Yeah, Rich, unplug your headset and plug it back in, or you might have an extra switch on it somewhere that can turn it off and on. Because showing on our screen, you're unmuted. So we should hear you. We can see your lips moving, but we cannot hear. I think there's a song, your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. Pink Floyd, right? We heard you earlier, Rich. What happened? Were you on a
Did we
phone
hear
or a
him?
computer? Rich, if you're on are you on a phone or a computer?
So Rich, you can type in the chat. Well, we can communicate that way. If you type in the chat and we can figure this thing out.
The other option sometimes is just reboot your computer, shut it off and start it back up, and sometimes that fixes the problem.
So Rich, can you, if you can hear me, can you just type yes in the chat if you can hear me?
You scroll to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little chat bar. Click on that. Oh, he wrote yes. He can hear
Okay,
us.
perfect. Okay.
You might want to restart.
So
just jump out and jump back in, Rich, and give that a shot. That might help.
yeah, I think that's the best thing. We'll be here, Rich. If you can log out and log back on. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Sorry about this.
Matt, I'm going to step out of the room. I'll be right back. I got to get some more water.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of Owen Benjamin?
Yeah.
I just recently discovered him, or like 2 days ago.
Yeah. So go ahead.
He was talking about
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Yeah,
Hear you loud and clear, Rich. Hear you loud and clear.
Testing 1 2.
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. We'll leave these to this
Great.
time. So
Okay. All
what
right.
am I
So
talking
let me give you a proper introduction, everybody. This is Rich Wright from OptimusLabs, and he's going to present today everything you want to know about nano silver that they make right in their lab, and not only for your personal needs, but as well as your pets. So with that, welcome, Rich.
thanks very much.
Right. Yes, that's super cool.
Sorry about that. I had to mute someone.
Oh, yeah, here, I'll do a little show and tell just to sort of help put things in perspective.
Perfect.
Can you see my stuff going on there? I tried to share
Yes.
the screen.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with silver products, there are basically two categories, silver salts and then metallic silvers. And I've been using silver salts for 30 years or more. And I've been a professional photographer working with silver chemistry for 45 years. So this was kind of a natural evolution for me in the laboratory to study electrochemistry and learn to make these nanoparticles. And we found that with all the research going on, it's head and shoulders above any other form of silver. All silvers have some form of antimicrobial property, but what's been measured by these types of particles, usually between 15 to 50 nanometer diameter particles, is it's truly astounding, the science that comes back on it, where it's not only antimicrobial, very effective against all bacteria, yeast, mold, but it also has anti-inflammatory properties. And that's what's really interesting, specifically for severely burned people and to prevent scarring. So this material, unfortunately, is something big pharma doesn't want out there. I've been kicked off of Amazon a couple of times. Wix refunded all my clients one time just because. So I had to be very careful about what I called this material. And unfortunately, it's that way right now, but I see the FDA and, you know, big pharma losing credibility. So I'm being more bold in my presentation, because this is the truth, and it's backed up with hard, you know, science papers. And we've been using this stuff for years. And so I'm so happy you guys are interested in it, and you'll let me share it with you, because it truly is. It's part of the medicine of the future, I think. It's like I say, it's not only antimicrobial, but it's anti-inflammatory. And so with that comes, here, I'll keep scrolling down, but can you see the fact sheet here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the basic breakdown between what traditional colloidal silver is and metallic silver, or these silver nanoparticles. You'll notice that quite a few differences. And what can I tell you? It's been around for a while. Oh, here, the green synthesis is what really got me interested, was that instead of synthesizing from like silver nitrate, I'm able to use electromagnetic induction to use a green synthesis method with some basically food grade ingredients. So it's really a miraculous process to create a material that we can use at such a low concentration and still get a very thorough antimicrobial effect. In fact, my sinus spray here, I sent it to laboratory for efficacy testing, and it came back telling us that it was effective up to 90% dilution against Staphylococcus, E. coli, and Candida albicans. So that was impressive enough for me to say, well, okay, then we can use it at even lower concentrations to minimize, like you were saying, the body's natural ability to eliminate waste materials, things that it doesn't need. So the beauty of this material is that when it does go into the body, that it's very easy for the body to eliminate it once it's done with it. So we have it, I have it in a vertical spray. I put a little bit lower concentration in a regular spray for all kinds of uses. Do you want me to leave it up here where you can look at it for a second, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, yeah, we just, so people can take a look.
Sure, sure. Or
and
you can go
then-
to, you can go to my website, and I have these same images up in each product gallery. So you can click on
Okay,
any
and-
product and still see this info.
Okay, and Rich, if people have questions, can they just, we don't have a large group right now. Can they just speak up and ask now, or do you want to
Yeah,
wait?
totally,
until the
totally.
question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
any
I'd like
question?
to see, if you could, is put your website in the chat so people can click on it.
Okay, let me see.
And then people, we have a thing called raise hands. So down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a thing called reaction. So we'll go ahead and raise your hands if you have any questions, and we'll call on you in order of who raises their hand first. If you can't raise your hand or don't know how, if there's a pause, just go ahead and say, may I? and ask your question when we say, go ahead. I had one question, but you'd have to scroll back up.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to use this machine. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yeah, we see throat rinse.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So
So-
shall I keep scrolling through so you kind of get an overview or?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so I've basically taken, it's the same material. They're all averaging 40 nanometer spherical particles. And I've used them in different concentrations because it's a material that is dose dependent. So the more you use, the better it's going to work, kind of thing. And I've had enough experience with the material to be able to use as little as possible and still get 100% effect, or, you know, batting 1,000 so far. Here we go. I also put it into oil-based balms, so it works for all kinds of problems that we found. And we're finding that the naturopathic practitioners are the ones that are really picking it up. They're finding gold in this. They're finding gold in my silver. Because they already have a clientele that's looking for a natural remedy. And so it's an easy first aid for them. And that's kind of how I'm marketing it, as natural first aid. In my experience, there are no other sort of natural based products that have such a profound effect in a first aid situation. So if you're injured topically, internally infected, you can use something for all of those types of problems. This is a coated. Yes.
A question in the chat. It says, what is maltodextrin?
Maltodextrin is a carbohydrate. And it allows, it's used in just a few grains, and it allows the particles to have something to bind with, basically. So that's how that works.
So I have a question, Rich. Is there a worry ever of having too much to mess with the good bacteria in your body? Is that ever an issue with any of these products?
It's not been an issue that I've known about. I mean, normally we have several pounds of good bacteria, and when bad bacteria gets out of hand, it's a crisis. I've known people that have taken it daily for over 2 years straight, and they've never had any issues with it. I only recommend to take it when you're symptomatic. I think there's no need to put foreign particles in your body if you don't need to. And the only reason to use this material is in case of infection or, you know, symptoms. So that's how I go about it. It's not some sort of supplement. The body doesn't need silver in any way for its metabolism. So this is something that's used in a crisis, or I say like a first aid situation. That's how I use it at home. We use it for our pets. We, like I say, been using this for years and have very good results. So I've put it in different concentrations and different delivery systems to make it easy for people to identify its use and for the convenience. Most colloidal silvers are sold as an ionic silver oxide, and then you have to make your own blend with it. But we find that the ionic silver, traditional colloidal silver, doesn't work a fraction as well as this kind of material. So we've moved away from that and are putting entirely our focus on these metallic particles now.
Question in the chat. How do you give it to your pet?
For some reason, I'm not seeing the chat. I guess my thing is.
So if you click on where it says chat at the bottom of your screen, they click on that little icon that says chat. It should open up There you go. Chat to the right.
Okay, cool. How do you give it to your pets? Oh, are you seeing the chat box on top of it?
Yeah, I saw it in the chat, so I just called out the question.
Okay, for pets, if our pet has an internal infection, I give her the mineral drops. I just put it in her water bowl. And since it doesn't have any taste or smell, the pet doesn't notice it. And if the pet, well, for example, I use the gel to clean her ears. Her ears, we have a Lhasa, and she's, I guess, about 15, and she tends to get rather yeasty ears. And so my wife cleans them with the gel, a gel and a tissue or a type of swab. And it does a really good job of keeping the yeast down in the ears. If there's a dry patch or hot spot or something like that, we'll use the oil-based balm, for example. But yeah, for pets, it crosses over very well. We have feedback, people using it on their goats, pigs, rabbits, horse, and of course, cats and dogs.
Now, when you drop that stuff into the water bowl for the dog, does it dilute it? And
Yeah, that's the idea. It's must be diluted. Like I say, must be diluted prior to use. It's a concentrated version, and so it can be diluted.
those drops internally, you must put them into some type of water or something.
It's better, yeah. It gets better diffusion that way. I mean, you could put a few drops on your tongue, and eventually they would, I suppose, get down. But it's better. It's, for example, like for food poisoning or systemic infection. Yeah, you'll want to dilute it in some water and drink it.
Another question in the chat was, can you take it before food? Do you have to wait? How long do you have to wait in between meals? Or can you just take it anytime? I imagine the topicals wouldn't matter, but.
Yeah, what for internal use? Yeah, you can take it anytime. The idea, it being coated, means that it will survive digestion. It will go through the stomach acids and reach the lower intestine, where enzymes there will dissolve the protein coating and absorb them systemically. And so unlike ionic silver, when consumed orally or when it hits the stomach, it mixes with hydrochloric acid and becomes silver chloride. So traditional colloidal silver is not really useful internally. If you're going to take anything or any silver internally, this would be the recommended format for pets or people. Let's see what else I got. Oh, for lovers, I have a water-based personal lubricant to help encourage a safer sex life for certain people. I live near West Hollywood, so that's a popular item. What else can I show you? Let's see. For cats, okay. How do you give it to your pet? Yeah, I usually put it in the water. That's the only way to do it. And then they don't notice they're taking it. Heard it's not great for our bodies. Yeah, if you look on my website, I put the links to the Environmental Protection Agency, I believe, did toxicity reports on this type of material. They measured doses, how long it took to go through the body, how much remained in the body, when that left. So it's been documented that the majority of, if not all of it, is out of your body 30 days after your last dose. But I figure—
You're saying it stays in the body for 30 days?
If you look at the charts, the majority of it leaves within the first few days after final dose. And then the rest of it, the final trail of it, is out of your body by 30 days. That's what they're saying. At least that's what they measured.
This throat rinse looks like it's a little squirt bottle. Looks like you four pumps on the sprayer for adults, and then it looks like 2 sprays for children. Is that it? 4 years and older?
Yeah, that's usually to help with sore throat, earache, that sort of thing. It doesn't take much more than that usually. to do that in case of a sore throat or thrush type symptoms. Yeah, you can use it anytime. It doesn't come with really any toxicity because, like you say, that tube from the mouth to your anus, it'll go through there and it'll come out the other end. And the beautiful thing is that it doesn't cause any harm to the body. See, these particles, unlike traditional colloidal silver, where those ions, most of them become absorbed by healthy cells and are rendered useless in fighting any sort of infection. Unfortunately, they have also the wrong electrostatic charge in that they are attracted to healthy cells, whereas these metallic particles are repelled by healthy cells and attracted to pathogens. So that allows us to use it at a very low concentration. For example, my pet eye drops, they're only 2.5 parts per million. The gel here, if you're familiar here, the coated mineral drops is 240 parts per million. The oil-based, I have it at 12 parts. The gel at 5 parts per million. And yeah, also the throat's at 5 and the sinus is at 10 parts per million. So those are very, very low concentrations in the silver world. Usually traditional colloidal silver manufacturers are fighting over who can make the most concentrated colloidal silver. It's 20 parts per million or it's 100 parts or whatever. And unfortunately, ionic silver will not go above about 20 parts per million. Then it starts falling out of suspension. However, these particles, because of the process, I can make it up to 1,000 parts per million, but I prefer to keep it at a concentration that would not be toxic if someone or a child drank the entire bottle. So yeah, this material it's very mild. To drink an entire bottle of the coated silver probably wouldn't even cause digestive issues. So it's kind of a blessing in a way that such a material is available. I've just been kind of persecuted for trying to get it out there. So I'm really glad you guys are listening. Any other questions or
Yeah,
things?
there's a question in the chat. It says, my dog has a cataract problem. Will the eye drops, can you put it in the eyes? Will eye drops help?
Well, I don't know about cataracts. Keep in mind, this material is primarily used for defense against bacteria, yeast, fungus, and mold. So if cataracts are bacterial related, they have a bacteria, yeast, or mold problem, then it should have an effect on it. 20,000 ppm, wow. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to sit there for a pretty long time to make 20,000 ppm. But I imagine it's possible. You might find that at a laboratory supply house. Well, for example, the material that I use for my sinus rinse, if I were to buy the exact concentration and size of particle at a laboratory supply house, it would be about $1,000 a liter. So the material can be obtained from places like laboratory supply houses, but you'll be paying close to $1,000 for a liter of my nose spray or the throat rinse kind of stuff. So it's allowing a lot more people to be able to enjoy the benefits of this material. What about 20,000? Yeah, see, 20,000 would be scary to me because if anybody drank 20,000, that could cause some upset tummy. Let's see. I need a website.
So
Yeah, here.
this is definitely going to be part of my arsenal, Rich, going forward. I've taken colloidal silver over the years and actually was happy with it. And compared to what you're saying with the nano silver, obviously there's no comparison. So I'm definitely making this. I mean, it totally makes sense.
Yeah,
to be
the
part of my
switch,
art.
the switch to colloidal silver 2.0 is here, really. You know, it's now matured to the point where, like I said, on paper, hands down, it's the safest and most effective choice now. Now that we've, developed these green synthesis methods that require just a pinch of baking soda, basically. So it's pretty cool. And I'm glad you guys are into it. I guess for you guys too, you've lost a lot of respect for the FDA and big pharma, huh?
Yeah, I got a question for you. If people were to order something, how long does it take you generally to be shipped out and to get to the?
It ships out usually the same day the order comes in.
So 3-day mail, 3 to 5 days in the mail.
It depends on the distance.
You're based out of where?
I'm LA County or Beverly Hills.
So anywhere in California is within 3 to
Yeah,
5.
it's usually a day, 2 days, something like that.
I
Yeah.
got one more
How
question.
long did it take you, Matt? It took you like 2 days, maybe 3 days? You're-
Yeah,
you're from the
it was
mountains,
really
though.
fast. I was shocked. I thought it was something else. It's like, I
Oh.
just talked to him yesterday and it's already in my mail.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it was a day or two at the most.
And it's free shipping. And use this, guys, head to toe as the coupon. In the coupon section, it'll wipe off like 15% from your total, and you plus free shipping if you decide to buy something, But use that head to toe, all capitals like that, and that'll be our inside discount bro rate. You know what I mean?
Great.
That's the bro.
Great. Thank you.
That's the bro, yo. Yeah. So let's see. I guess you've seen enough of my little show and tell thing. Now move to bottom. Sorry, I'm so lame on this thing.
It's okay.
Stop share. There we go.
Question, roughly, what is the throat spray, that throat spray thing that you have? How much is that roughly? You don't have to,
Like
ballpark.
on online, you're saying for the price?
That little bottle that you have in that you showed on the screen there.
Yeah, the 4-ounce bottle, I believe it's $28.55 online.
Okay.
I think it sells a little bit cheaper at the practitioner, but it's like $1 or so. So if you have a practitioner in your neighborhood, they could order it wholesale and, they could be a distributor of it too. That's what I have going in Arizona and San Diego. There are practitioners there that have opened wholesale accounts. And so they can treat immediately their patients for first aid problems. So
Yeah, I think
Pretty
that
cool.
that gel or what you had is a great thing to have in your first aid kit.
oh yeah, dude, for
That's a
burns, there is nothing better for burns ever. It's truly amazing for burns. In fact, if you don't mind a little laboratory gore, in my blog
Bring it
section,
on.
in my blog section, I did a review of a study on wounds or wound care, wound management. And the difference between, here, let me see if I can pull it up and I'll share my screen with that. Hold on, that's going to be rad.
How long have you been doing into this business or into this, working on this?
Oh,
Yeah.
I started this project in early 2019.
Okay, so 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the hit. Oh, here we go. Let's open this up and I'll try to share. Let's see. Where's it? Share screen again.
At the bottom of your screen on the Zoom call.
Oh yeah, here we go. I can do this. Cool. Share. I'm going to share this document, right? This is, they were comparing silver nanoparticles to silver sulfadiazine. Silver sulfadiazine is the traditional burn cream that's used for topical and for veterinary as well. So they did a direct comparison between these two materials. And if you see here, on the left are the nanoparticles, on the right, SSD would be the silver sulfodiazine. And this is just over a, 25-day period after boiling the poor animal. We noticed a huge difference in day 25. Are you guys seeing this?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the also the epidermis was not scarred. It resembles more normal skin than the scarred epidermis on the right there, the SSD. Yeah, so we've noticed too, you know, with just abrasions. I'm a motorcycle rider, and you know, road rash is no stranger to me. I ride bikes, motorcycles, that sort of thing. And this is the best road rash gel ever. So for any sort of burn, any sort of abrasion, it works remarkably. All right, you've probably seen enough of that. Stop sharing. And
All right.
what else could I show you?
Anybody have any questions? Feel free to go ahead and ask Rich.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Rich, during this COVID,
The
whatever you
Jashim.
want to call it, over
Mhm.
the last 2 years, do you have any testimonials from people getting rid of their problem, the COVID symptoms or whatever with nano silver?
Well, actually, my whole family got it. My wife and my 2 sons and myself. And we did see a huge difference afterwards because we lost our taste and smell afterwards. And in fact, that's what really showed us how it does make an effect, was that for quite some time after getting sick, we didn't have the material at that time. I didn't have any of this material. In fact, that's what inspired me to start making it because we didn't have it. I had been using ionic silver and I didn't have any. I had loaned the machine to a friend. I couldn't use it. So we all got sick at the same time. Cut to several months later, we still had no taste and smell. And so once I started making this material, then gradually it came back, the sinus and the taste. We did a 2-week course. Our whole family did 2 weeks of the mineral drops each, and we used the sinus spray several times a day for about a week or so, and eventually our sense of smell and everything came back. So for anybody who suffered any sort of debilitating side effects from these illnesses that came through recently, it's certainly worth a try. We've also done tests with a person who had regular breakouts with herpes, and they saw a reduction in the outbreaks by doing a 2-week course of our material. So these are just anecdotal things that I have direct experience with. Let's see, am I missing anything? 20,000 is bad. No, 20,000 is just scary for me, because if anyone were to drink 20,000 ppm, it might make them sick or cause a bad reaction. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, this is the first time I've done this, so I don't know what else to say. You know,
No, that's perfect. So thank you, Rich. You've given great information, and if anybody's, now's your chance, or we'll conclude this part, and I'll just talk about just for a second about a couple other things. But if anyone has any more questions for Rich, you put your contact information in the chat. Is that correct? OptimusLabs.com.
Well, here, let me do it.
And,
No, actually, it's optimistage.com. Let's do that.
Okay.
Optimistage.com or
And
optimussilver.com.
is there a shelf life or not? I assume no shelf life, or,
It as long as it doesn't freeze or be contaminated with salts, it's an indefinite shelf life.
Okay.
So it must be
Yeah.
kept from cold temperatures, and you can't, for example, the coated mineral drops, you'd never use it in ice water. You'd use it in warm tea or coffee or something like that. And for all the other products, just keep them from freezing. Freezing will kill it. It will knock the silver out of suspension and it will turn gray and black. That's how you know, that's how you know you've killed your silver, is if you come back and it's gray and black and not bright yellow, then yeah, it's either been frozen or contaminated. So that's how that works.
all right. Well, thank you very much, Rich. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And we've got your information. This Zoom video will be up at the CaliforniaMilitia.com for anybody. So if you have anybody you want to show, and anybody can go see it in the future up at the CaliforniaMilitia.com website. So thank you.
Yeah, cool.
And I'm just going to now go ahead. Yeah. Any concluding remarks you want to make?
No, just stay in touch, guys. Send me your emails, that sort of thing. I can offer, coupons that you can send to your friends and family, or do like a group thing. Like if you want to make a bunch of kits for an organization or something like that, I'll make a special organization for you, that sort of thing. Just stay in touch, because it's a growing thing, in that this material is starting to get out there now. And I want it to be accessible to as many people who have affinity with it. Most people don't understand the value of this material, and clearly you guys do. You're clearly a head above. You guys are intuitive. You're headed towards the future of medicine and goodness and health and nutrition and all that sort of thing. So yes, please stay in touch. Send me your emails. I'll keep in touch with you guys. Questions anytime, just give me a call. I have my number on the site. Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Rich. I really
pleasure.
appreciate this great information. This is going to be part of my arsenal, first
Thanks.
aid arsenal.
All right. Thanks for having, huh?
Thank
been
you.
great.
And thanks everybody for being here. Does anybody have anything they can share as far as health and wellness or safety and preparedness? Because this is all about teaching each other, helping each other, especially with everything that's going on right now in the world. If anybody has anything they'd like to share, what they're doing, anything they're doing, please go ahead and share.
Well, there's one thing I would like to mention. A lot of people if you have friends or family that have been injured from the recent vaccines that have caused problems like circulatory problems, there's a technology called MRET. Are you familiar with MRET water? Magnetic resonant effect transmission or something. It's irradiating. I'll put a link for you guys, because it thins the blood for people that have circulatory problems. And we've been living with it for about a year now. And it's truly amazing. So I'll put the link for you guys.
Thank you. On that note, one other thing, a natural thing that thins the blood incredibly well is just using a grounding sheet every night. And that's what I do. And it looks like I'm on Coumadin if I cut myself. So another great thing, which especially for anyone that's gotten poison injection. Yeah, grounding sheet is actually, it hooks into the ground of your outlet. It has a wire. It's a sheet with wires in it. And so when your skin's on it, you're actually connected to the earth. It's another word is earthing. You're connected to the earth while you're sleeping, and you're getting the electrons that are coming off the earth with the negative charge. And
That's
so
supposed to be
exactly
beneficial, right?
What's
You're
that?
seeing, it's supposed to be hugely beneficial, I understand.
It is very beneficial. It's actually, yeah, it's a blood thinner. And you look at the before and after pictures of people that have grounded. It's the same as, walking on the beach in the wet, it's a very healthy thing to do for your body and for your blood, because you're thinning your blood and making everything more efficient.
Yeah,
And that's what we know with these injections. We know that it's all what it's doing to the blood. You've heard reports from the undertaker, the mortuaries, what do you call them?
yeah,
The embalmers.
pulling the things out of
Yeah,
their veins.
exactly. All that everyone's clotted up, and it's like trying to pump sludge through the body.
Right.
So-
So that was just a pop into my head because I know this is a problem, and I don't know you guys, but maybe you have friends or family that have been injured that way. And this was something that we've had direct experience with that I could give you as maybe something that would help that. So I'm going to jump
Right.
out now and go back to my thing here, but I send you guys lots of blessings.
Thank you, Rick.
Great being with
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.